nothing to lose because you don't. And when you realize that, that's when you make the decision that you're going to play your best. Because if you don't have it tomorrow. You don't get another 48 minutes. That's what we're here for. The pride, the tradition, the family. Yeah, about the guys in this room. Nothing else. 48 minutes for everybody who's here. Do you understand me?
Yes, Coach.
Do you understand me?
Yes, Coach.
Back to P2P with Boomer and DDP. This is the 53rd episode. I'm your co-host, Nino Brown, and you see the man on the side of me. His name is Boomer, a.k.a. Jared Gray. How we doing this evening? Ooh, we might have a little technical difficulties. Jared just froze up on me.
I'm here.
There
I'm good.
is.
We're good.
There he is. How we doing? How we doing tonight?
I'm good. I appreciate you. I didn't realize I was connected to the Wi-Fi for some dumb reason, but it's here. We're talking some Duke football, and it's already football season because basketball season's over now.
Ooh, shots fired early and often. All right, my man. You know how we do. We're gonna break into these weekly headlines. Right? I got a couple questions for you. I want to pick your brain real quick. Right off the rip, I think this is pretty cool. Is Florida State Seminoles and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will open up the 2024 season in Ireland. I mean, this is the first international game in the program for Florida State. Georgia Tech's been there already. They were in Ireland in 2016 when they beat my BC Eagles 17-14. So what are your thoughts on this?
The crazy thing is every Ireland game that we've seen has been a nail biter. I mean, it's been a really close game. It's been fun to watch. However, I don't expect this to be a close game. I think Florida State is bringing back enough firepower to just give it to Georgia Tech. They're losing some big key guys in Keon and other guys in general, and Florida State's just they're starting to rebuild again, and I'm loving it for them. I mean, I know you and me both have always kind of rode with Florida State a little bit. They were my team when I was a younger kid. Derek Brooks, my favorite player of all time.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. So, the program is basically, part of that. And
that's wrapped.
Yeah. So I just love Florida State in general. Really hope they do, kill it and crush it. I want them to win every game unless they play Oklahoma. And I think we're very close back and forth with them. So, but
I am I sleeping team this year? I ain't sleeping. I mean, I doubt they're sleeping. But they're my team that I don't think many people are talking about. That is cool. So I think they're gonna flex. So I don't think that game's gonna be remotely close, unfortunately. But you never know. You never know. So we'll see. All right, next on the dock here, we spoke about QB battles a little bit last couple of weeks. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, right? He lets us in on the QB battle a little bit. He says right off the rip that the junior Carson Beck and sophomore Brock Vandegrift will mostly run with the ones during spring practices, and that the freshman Gunnar Stockton will run the twos. He led the scout team last year as a red shirt, right? Apparently, Vandegrift was a better athlete, more mobile QB. He added some weight, put on 15 pounds. And Beck, who they say has a stronger arm, he lost a little weight to be a little bit more mobile. So what are your thoughts on the battle going on in Georgia?
Well, Vandegrift was originally committed to Oklahoma at one time. And I think Riley, going to USC was a big part of him not going there. Bringing in Caleb Williams the way he did. He just really, it shut the door. And I love Vandegrift. I think he's an absolute dude. But Stockton, from everything that I'm hearing about Stockton, is he could be the next Stafford. And that's really what I'm hearing. I keep hearing some different things. I hear that they like him, in comparison to Stetson Bennett because he's athletic. He's got kind of a smaller frame, but he ran the scout team, ran it good, apparently good enough to continue to look really good. That's a loaded quarterback room that's going to lose somebody. It's just going to happen. And
it has to, right? It has to.
Yeah. I just there's too many programs that could use one of those three guys, and it's not. Kirby Smart's been able to put guys into the system, but you're not going. He hadn't had a first round quarterback,
No.
that's been a guy. I mean, he had Justin Fields that he lost.
Right.
So, and if you don't put your athletes on the field, they're going to transfer. That's just what it is.
Agreed 100%. Like we said, Gunnar is the all around better athlete out of all three, right? He's supposed to be like that dude. Obviously, he's a freshman this year, redshirt last year, so we'll see what happens. We're running the twos. I mean, if I had to take my shot here, I'm going to say Beck's going to be the guy being the backup last year to Stetson. He had some action. I think he threw maybe 50 passes. 58 passes, something like that. So he had some, game action, whether it was in garbage time or whatever. So if I had to put some money down, I would say Beck. But I agree with you 1,000%. There'll be a man missing in that QB room come week 1.
Yeah, I think so too. It'd be hard to believe that somebody doesn't transfer.
So I think you'll enjoy this next little question on the docket I got for you. It started brewing last week, and then this week a little bit more of a fruition came to it with Arizona kind of leading the charge here. Are the Big 12 adding 4 more teams? Right.
Well, I mean, Colorado obviously was part of them at one point anyway.
Right.
I think the Pac-12 is just going. They're going to completely disband. I don't see them being a Power 5 conference when this is all said and done. They've lost their biggest dudes, and it sucks for them as the Pac-12 in general. We
heard that little thing about they might be adding teams to the Pac-12, but apparently this like Arizona's kind of leading the charge now with the whole deal, right? And it's Arizona State, Colorado, and I believe it's one more team, right? Utah. Now Utah and Colorado go. It's a rap city.
Well, that's the thing is, as much we hear that it's Arizona leading charge, I hear it's your boy leading charge. So
Dion.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he's pretty much run amok on this entire college football landscape, and if he's willing to push because Big 12 media rights are going to be better than the Pac-12 media rights, and they're
up in the air right now, right? Apple wants in, but they don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, so I think that you're going to see, because you already see 4.4 teams coming in this season for the Big 12.
Right,
two teams leaving, right? Puts it at 12 next year, and then you bring in 4 at 16. You do an 8 and 8. So
now you're in the battle with the other two gentlemen, the SEC and what is it?
The Big Ten.
Right? So
yep.
Right, but that you got this, the 4 corners.
Yeah,
so all over the map.
Yeah, and that's where I think that you're going to. The Pac-12 and Big 12 talked about a merger anyway a while back, and it would be smart for them in general to do this because of who they're losing. They're like, well, you know what? Let's bring in a dude here and there. Let's bring in a team, and you're going to get not a Power 5, but a Power 4. And I don't see how the ACC holds on, to be honest with you. It's going to be a Power 3, and that's what it is.
That money, right? Like, so they owe a lot of money. That contract goes deep, which I think that's the only string holding it all together, right? Is because they got all that money tied in somehow. Unless somehow, some way, SEC says, "Listen, I'll take 4 of these teams and I'll eat half." You know what I mean?
See that because I think the SEC wants. If they're going to pull another name, they're going to pull Clemson and Florida State in, if possible.
Right. Yeah.
And
agreed. You might as well take Miami at that point.
Yeah, and if you're bringing in 2, you can bring in 3. To make it 5, to make it 20, call it good. And I had to say that there actually needs to be some exodus, because I think that Vanderbilt is. I think they're going to. There's no way Vanderbilt can compete, and the only reason they're still in the ACC is the money, because
tradition though, right? They've been there forever.
Yeah, and I get that, right? But we can throw that out the window because the Big 8 conference, or when they had Nebraska and Colorado and Houston, and
Yeah, no, I know, I understand, but it's a different time now. You understand?
Exactly.
Like,
And that's what I'm saying is, you can throw tradition out the window in that aspect. So,
right? No, I'm with you. I agree. It is a different time. And it's a different time because we're about to talk about a relevant Duke football team. When was the last time Duke football was relevant?
when they got beat by Johnny Manziel in the bowl game.
So we're going back quite a few years, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was sneaking in at 6 wins, right? 7 wins or something. I think that year they played Manziel. Um, let's we're gonna dibble and dabble a little bit. They went from 0 wins the season before, right? And head coach Elko spun it around, got them to 9 wins in 1 year, 9-4 on the year, and they had a bowl victory, military bowl victory. So, I mean, that's a good turnaround. That's a
Oh,
good
it's a
start.
huge turnaround,
You know
massive
what I mean?
turnaround. I mean, thing is, we're hoping that teams like Colorado can make the same turnaround go to from, in any aspect.
Right.
To pull 9 wins, and I don't care what conference you're in, to pull 9 wins when you're coming from 0 is massive in
Huge,
college football.
huge. Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on a big part of that in a few minutes, but I wanted to touch on just them as a whole. Last season they averaged 31 points of per game of offense, had them 34 ranked nationally, 415 yards per game of offense. That was ranked 40 nationally, and it was 75% in the red zone. All right, they averaged 181 rush yards per game and 234 pass yards. Now, this was literally like Elko's like debut at head coaching. 9 wins off the rip. That's a good way to come out swinging in my eyes.
Yeah.
He had a lot of years at DC. He was a head coach for Notre Dame back in the day. I say back in the day, that was 2017, and then it was 4 years at A&M. I mean, I can run through the numbers real quick with you, but what are your thoughts on Elko before I just throw some stats out at you?
To come into to play the defensive coordinator at A&M and do what he did moving into the SEC, because 2019, 20, and 21, he ranked as high as 9th defensively in total defense. I think it was 2020, and that gives you a job.
Yeah,
I don't care where you are, right? If your total defense is top 10 in the entire nation, especially in the SEC, you're going to get looks. And I mean, I don't know how it's a upgrade, but being a head coach is being a head coach. When you make a team go 0-9, you should lock this dude up. Like, I do not care what. Listen, Duke, nothing against you, but you might not have peaked at 9 wins, but to get to 9 wins in general off your first rip of a year, you have got to lock this dude up. I mean, it's very few times, because you're either going to be a stepping stone, or you're going to, or you can say, hey, we're trying to build something here and we want you to be our guy. You can be, our Nick Saban. You can be our Jimbo Fisher, to where you're building. You can be our Bob Stoops.
Right.
We want you to be the guy long term, build us from nothing. Don't step and think that you need to keep getting better somewhere else and become a guy like Jim Zorn, Brian Kelly. Notre Dame is, cream of the crop, and you feel like you had to move. And I understand, like, you feel like you've just done what all you can do there. But Duke, if you can go in and your goal here, if you're, Elko, let's win an ACC championship. I think they're in line to do something big here. And Elko, they need to lock him up. And obviously we'll get farther into that in a second. But your goal here right now is, if this guy even makes a bowl game, 6 wins, 7 wins, you contract extension, and it's a big, I mean, like 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 million.
Facts. I'm with you 100%. Like that 2020 year, I mean, he was second in the nation against the rush. Like, my man knows how to coordinate a defense.
And apparently knows how to recruit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about, we're talking coordinating defense. The defense coordinator, he's Tyler Santry. He's 34 years old, right? He replaced Rob Smith after 1 year at Duke. Rob Smith was there last year. In 2021, he was the co-defensive coordinator and linebacker coach at Texas A&M. So same roots, you bring your friends when you're going somewhere new and you need someone to be comfortable with. You bring your friends. And then you had offensive coordinator was Kevin Johns, right? 2018, he was the OC and wide receivers coach at Texas Tech. And then from 2019 to 2021, he was the OC and quarterback coach at Memphis. So it just,
both those offenses are slinging it. So
air raid, baby, everywhere, right? Just chuck the rock around. So, but I think Elko's got a good squad. I think those are the main guys. We're not going to go dive deep into wide receivers coach and all that, but those are the main guys. And I think he's got a good squad. I just found it odd. Rob Smith just kind of scooted after 1 year. I'm in. I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah. You don't want to speculate anything. Maybe just a little mixture. Right. Like, hey, this was good for us, not good for us. Rob Smith is a dude anyway. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So it was just, whatever it may be.
He's probably getting phone calls long before that. So, and good for him. Go do you. Have a good time. Bring in the guys that you want to build this program with. Young guys, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's just an awesome thing to watch for him. I mean, can't say he did anything wrong because he's got 9 wins.
No, that's what I'm saying. And there was games where the defense put multiple scores on the board, kept teams to under 200 yards. So, like I said, it was just success, but maybe he just saw the success and was like, I'm gonna take this piggyback and go do something else.
I would say they were a top 5 surprise team of the year for sure.
I think some people still sleeping on him, and they're gonna sleep on the gentleman that I'm about to talk to, because last night and the night before I dove into a little bit of film. Right, all right, we're doing Pool Devils. I'm gonna start looking. Gentleman came up. It was Riley Leonard, quarterback. Wow, let me tell you, I was blown away. 6'4", 205 pounds, 13 games last year, 250 completions out of 392 attempts, 63.8% completion, close to 3,000 yards passing. He had 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had 124 attempts for close to 700 yards and another 13 touchdowns. I watched games, right? The game against Drake May and UNC, my man was slinging it. Hey, I'm talking back foot throws for 40 yards on a rope to a dude. He can chuck the rock. He is good at being mobile. He's got good vision. He's got good pocket presence. I seen throws back shoulder. Literally, DBs couldn't get it if he was trying his best. I don't understand why everybody's sleeping on Riley Leonard. Talk to me about Riley Leonard, please.
I mean, let's be real, dude's he's prototypical, 6'4", big frame, big body, arm, legit athlete.
Yes,
he played 3-sport athlete,
legit. Yeah.
I mean, and not a average athlete. This dude, won the MVP of the Military Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, balled out 64%, coming from an 0-9 team, not knowing any player, really, with your system.
Right.
64% in any system is good, and we know that the ACC's had some pretty stout defenses.
Right.
I think that he stepped over a group of people. I mean, I would argue he's probably a top 2, top 4 quarterback in the ACC. I truly believe that.
I love it. I think so too. I think he's right there. I'm a Klubnik guy. I love Klubnik, but I don't know, man. I think Riley might be right there with them in the ACC. Obviously, the gentleman of Florida State is one in my eyes in the ACC, and then Leonard's got to be
no. Time out. Drake May's one, right? Drake May's one. I mean, I don't know how you say different. Drake May was probably a top 2 draft pick in this class.
I want to see if the production was because of Josh Downs, or if he's the dude.
Because, okay, well, I'm gonna stick as my guy being one in the ACC. So
all right, A lot of people sleep on Florida State and my boy Jordan. I
No,
think
and I don't. He played well against Oklahoma, so I like Francis. I just
said
don't think
before.
he's the top quarterback in the.
All right, I mean he's.
I'm not
Listen,
saying he's
Drake
top
May's
4.
one. Drake May is one, but I want to see if Drake May holds that because there was the last 3 games of the season in that bowl game. Drake May looked shaky, man.
Yeah,
Right? There was no adjustments to things. I mean, granted that was on Mac Brown as well, but he didn't adjust well.
you know what I really want to see out of Riley Leonard? Can you imagine if he plays his entirety, right, until he's a senior, and then gets invited back to the Senior Bowl where he's from in Mobile, Alabama? Can you imagine how many people will show up to watch this kid play, including us?
Yeah, I would be there. Listen, look. If he has another year like last year, I cannot see the kids staying. Like you'd have to just pounce
Well,
on
they
him.
can say, "Hey, it's Duke," you know what I mean? And he's going to get
But it's back-to-back years.
the
That's what
talk.
I'm saying. If it's like this, if he does it again like he did last year, you know
Well,
what I mean?
you know, the naysayers are, "Oh, it's the system." You know, it's because it's an air raid. That talk is there. I mean, the talk is there
They
with
play
Will
North
Rogers.
Carolina A&T, right? They played North Carolina A&T, but he played North Carolina, and dude was in the game though. Like
Yeah.
him and Drake May were slugging it out to like mid 4th quarter before they were out of it. You know what I mean? Like, and even with like 6 minutes to go, the announcer when they score a touchdown go, Raleigh and the Duke Blue Devils don't believe they're out of this game. So like, he's got that mentality. He don't care. I think for him to have a little bit more success this year, he got to slide a little bit more. My man does not care if you're a linebacker, if you're a safety. He'll take hits, bounce off hits, go put his head down. That scares me a little bit. I need you to be a little bit easy. I need Danny
Here's my
Dimes
quick
2.0.
question. Ready?
All right?
I know you're a Levis guy.
Yes.
Riley or Levis.
Give me another season of this. We might have to revisit this talk. You know what I'm saying?
I think this is the board one right here that we're going to have to visit at the end of the season. Riley Leonard, draft stock, where we at? We're just going to have to let me know.
So, all right. You got to go Caleb, right? And then you'd have to go Drake May for next year. And then it kind of gets a little sticky with guys, right? It could be Penix, could be KJ Jefferson. It's just an abundance. It could be Kyle McCord. I mean, I don't know, but there could be an abundance of quarterbacks. Riley Leonard could be in that top 5. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Kyle McCord is going to be in this talk. I think he's going to have a year. But Michael Penix, I've already went out there and said that he's going to be in the Heisman talk. I think Riley Leonard could also be in the Heisman talk if he improves on a season like this. But it's not all Riley Leonard. Okay, there are some weapons there. Let's talk about the running back, Jordan Waters, 6'1", 210, 13 games last year, right? He had 123 attempts, 566 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry. He did have 16 receptions for 106 yards. He's an aggressive runner, right? Yak guy, yards after contact. He doesn't go down on the first hit at all. He can get moving quick. He has a little bit of shake to him. He's got some good hands and athleticism. I seen him jump DBs in the North Carolina A&T game. So what are your thoughts on Jordan Waters?
I mean, he's huge, 6'1", 210. He's a big old boy, 4.6. You know, he's right on that cusp of the 5 yards per carry. 8 touchdowns, 16 receptions. I think that you're going to see a load of him this coming season. I mean, we love the guys that are coming out as well.
Right.
The 2 freshmen, which they're going to push for playing time because he can recruit, and we talked about this.
Yeah, those guys are movers.
Yeah, if you watch, the tape, and obviously we're going to get to them in a second, but Peyton Jones and Marquise Collins, just dudes. They're dudes.
Jones is wow.
Yeah. The one cut ability of Jones is next level. It's
yeah.
it's like hit it and gone. I mean, he is going to be a fun one to watch. He's not going to, you can't keep him off the field. It's just not going to happen. I think we
Yeah.
agree with that. I know I'm jumping ahead for the recruit wise, but
Yeah, I
we're
know
in the
you like
running
you
back
like it. I
talk.
know. Yeah.
We're in the running back talk. I've got to bring it up because as much as I love Waters, I think we both understand that if Duke brings in a player, that dude's going to get playing time, and
Yes.
you just can't hold him back. But
They're
Waters
both
is
three
not.
stars too.
Waters ain't gonna mess around, bro. I mean, he averaged 5 yards a carry almost, so he's
Yeah.
going to play his. So he's a big dude. So he's gonna be the pounder though.
Yeah, he's gonna be the first and second down guy. And and if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, he's gonna be in there too. Those other guys will come in, they'll get theirs, early and often. I know both of those guys play a little bit of special teams, so they'll work their way on the field. Let's hit this wide receiver room because I am a big fan of this gentleman, Jalen Calhoun.
Me too.
5'11", 190, right? 13 games, 62 receptions, 873 yards, 4 touchdowns, 14.1 yards per catch. He got good hands and vision, right? He's a bloodhound for the first down marker. He just seems to always find it. Even if he gets, right off the rip on a screen or somebody gets whacked, he finds that thing. If he don't get the first down, he's getting close. He's got quick bursts. He can get in front of the DB quickly, and then it's see you later. He's shifty, and he's a good special teams returner. What are your thoughts on Calhoun before we hit the next two guys?
He reminds me a lot of Downs, to be honest with you.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, really, if you want to put the tape on, it's crazy. I mean, they're very similar. They're both very good returners. They're, good possession guys when you need them to be. They're great route runners.
Yep.
I mean, very comparable if you just look at the tape. And who doesn't want Josh Downs on their team in college? So
yeah, right.
It's Calhoun is right there, and I love it you got to love it for Riley Leonard. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously going to be his go-to guy. I also think the tight end, we'll get to him in a little bit, it's going to be his guy, too.
I love Panko, though.
Yo, bro.
Eli Panko's no joke, bro. 6'3", 200 pounds.
He's a dog. Talk to me.
He's physical. I mean, he's just absolute big body receiver. He reminds me a lot of A.T. Perry from Wake Forest. Big body, could still grow, still linky, but he's quick. I mean, I could even say he's fast because I think he's going to run a 4.5 40. When it's time, and to be 6'3", 200 plus pounds, run a 4.5, 4.4 40, you're fast. I don't care. It's just a thing. I mean, we're not.
Yeah. You can line him up.
No reason to hold back here.
Line him up anywhere on the field.
Yeah. You can put it. I mean, the thing is, he puts on enough weight. He can body anybody. He can play the slot. He can pull the CD Lamb roll is what we like to say, because we can 100%. Put CD anywhere. And that's how I feel about Packle. So, I mean, he's a dude. I love him. Absolutely love him.
I think it's crazy that we're literally talking about like legit prospects out of Duke. Like it's been a long time. There's one more gentleman on that wide receiver core. It's Jordan Moore, 6'2", 180 pounds. He played 13 games last year. He had 60 receptions, 656 yards, 5 touchdowns, 10.9 yards per catch. So he got some dogs for wide receivers. I think Leonard's loaded. I watched a few games. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk about him, but the tight end, he a little dirt dog. He just he stays close to the line of scrimmage, and he's always getting them like short touchdowns. Talk to me about this gentleman.
So we're talking about Dalmoen or Moore?
Demoline, yeah, Nicky Demoline.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 250. He needs to put some weight on for me.
Right.
That's my only thing. I mean, he's basically a wide receiver. I mean, you're blocking him, body wise, but he ain't blocking you either. So
right.
I need to see him put on 15 to 30 more pounds. I mean, and I'll be down. Like if he puts on that,
he's not on the line a lot though. He don't line up on the line a lot. That's why.
Yeah, he that system he doesn't have to. He gets to play that role. 21 receptions, 170 yards, 8 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns. That's where you want to look at him. Red zone. That's where he's at. I mean, come look at me, dude. 6'4". I can jump out of the gym. I just want to see if he puts. I'm okay with like 7 more pounds, but give me to 220, 221, and just run the end zone. Like, just red zone love. I don't care. get your
Just eat in the red
200,
zone, buddy.
get your whopping, 70 receptions and let them all be inside the red zone. Who cares? Or inside the 40 in. I don't care.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you. He can just put up a beach chair in the end zone. Good to go. All right, bring us into the defense.
Obviously, we keep talking about the defensive coordinator moving in, moving out. And we like the kid that they brought in. Is it John's? Yeah, sorry. No, Tyler Santry. And we just talked about him, 34 years old, really good. I think you and I both are really in on Oben. RJ Oben, 6'4", 255, 20 tackles, 11 solos, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and two forced fumbles. Huge. I still cannot believe that they got Franklin to transfer from, Notre Dame. We really thought he was going to be the guy with Foskey leaving. We talked about it, with the Notre Dame thing, like, why did Franklin leave? Like, it's just one of those weird things. 13 games, 26 tackles, 8 solos, 3.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 5 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery. And he didn't even play a ton.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he got the game, but just not a lot. Vincent Anthony, freshman, 28 tackles, 14 solo tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, a half a sack, 2 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery. Eaton, like, I'm with you. Like, he is everywhere. He plays the cheetah position basically, and drops back in coverage, can rush the quarterback, set the edge. He might be the most athletic guy on their defense, and that's hard to say because we're going to get into the rest of it in a second.
This gentleman, the next
he's
guy.
A freshman. He's a freshman.
That's the thing. The youth is crazy.
He's just young. It's just cool to see. Obviously, we can go here, but I know that you want to get to Dwayne Carter, 6'3", 200 pounds, 36 tackles, 21 solos, 11 tackle for loss, 5.5 sacks, 4 pass deflection, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. Okay, ball hawk, I'll hear you. 4.95 40. I think that so he runs a faster 40 time than that when it's all said and done. When he really trains, I feel like we're going to see him jump in the 40 and do a 4.7-ish, and 0.2 seconds is nothing to shy about when you're talking about, hey, this guy ran a base of 5 flat. I think he gets there, especially at 300 pounds. So he's a dude. So if he gets 4.8, I think that we'd all 4.8, and we'd be like, okay, bro, we see you. And it's one of those things.
Almost 600 snaps. He's on the field. He's not one of these rotational dudes. He's on there locked in, and he can play inside and out. So it's like, where do you put him? Where do you like him the best? What's your flavor? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, does he remind you a little bit of your guy coming out of Pittsburgh this year, Cansey?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Cansey's a little bit faster, obviously. You know what I mean? You got the speed there, but
he's a dude.
Yeah, but the fact that he can play inside and out like Cansey can, he eats. I like this guy a lot. He's a leader. If you watch I watch probably 6 or 7 games of film. He's that dude in the huddle just firing people up, especially pregame. He's the guy. So
yeah,
Dwayne Carter. I think you're gonna hear a lot of his name this year. He's obviously the anchor on that defense. But bring us into these linebackers. Go ahead, take us away.
All right, Dorian Mousey, 6'2", 210 pounds. Love to see him put on some weight. Honestly, I just feel like he's just not big enough to be the middle linebacker. But with, we talked about this in the draft scenario anyway. You don't see those 250 guys. I do want to see you with 230. Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's just a personal preference to me. Playing the middle, I feel like they honestly should flip Freeman. And
I was gonna say the same thing just now. He said perfect weight, 235. He just should be perfect right there.
Mousey had 44 tackles, 19 solo tackle for loss, and pass deflection, 13 games. That's not good enough for me to be you're my guy, right? Especially at the middle. Trey Freeman, 6'1", 235, which is exactly what we like to see. 20 tackles, 9 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a sack. He's a sophomore.
Right.
Sorry, Joshua, and those are the two linebackers that are coming into their own. They're still young. Expect plenty out of them. You're the DB guy. Let's hear your reaction to your DBs.
All right. So on the left side, we got Joshua Pickett, 6'1", 180 pounds. In 13 games, he had 41 tackles. 25 of them were solo, right? He had tackle for loss and a sack and 7 pass defenses. Listen, I want a little bit more weight, right? At 6'1", 180, kind of a little lanky. I like the 190. Let's creep in at 190. But you got good hands. Obviously, you get 7 pass defenses. So you're in there. And you're a dirt dog. You like tackling. At 41 tackles, 25 of them solo. You don't mind doing the work by yourself. So I like Pickett, all right? The next gentleman, Nickelback, Brandon Johnson. Bro, people better recognize and be aware of this gentleman. 5'11", 180 pounds, all right? 13 games, 55 tackles, 30 solo. 7.5 tackles for loss. 5.5 sacks. He had 2 picks and 1 was to the crib, right? 7 pass defenses, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. Boomer. This dude is like a little, he's got the mentality and the play of like a small JL Skinner. All right. He's got good awareness for the ball. He hits hard. He raps well. Right. Versus Northwestern, he had a pick and a fumble recovery in the end zone. Same game. The dude just eats around the ball. Right. He hits hard. He raps well. He's not one of these like just get the arm on the ball. He wraps you up. You're going down. He can play in the box. Bro, you want to talk about playing in the box? Versus Miami, he absolutely came off the left side and blitzed. The Garcia was filling in for Van Dyke. I thought it was going to take about 10 seconds for Garcia to get up off the ground. And then earlier in the game, he recovers a fumble. And then he had an interception for a touchdown. All in one game. Virginia Tech, another time. It literally took, he came blitzing. It wasn't off the edge. It was inside the edge. But he came blitzing off that. It was like 1.5 seconds. He blasted the quarterback. The dude was laid out. Like, this guy is a football player. What are your thoughts on Johnson?
So I'm going to give you somebody that you and I have been kind of on in the pro level. And I just want to know if you feel like he's somewhere near this guy. I'm just checking weight real quick because I know he's a little bit taller. So Kansas City cornerback from last year, you know, we both love Watson, right?
Yeah.
Really feel like Watson comes down, hits. He's fat. He's elite fast, by the way. He's a little bit bigger, but he also really, really gives me Marcus Peter vibes. Like, he's a ball hawk.
Yes.
And he does not care to get in your face.
No, he does
he
not.
Don't care that he's 180 pounds.
Yeah.
He gonna give you the business. And
yeah.
I think because of how he talks and how he's always around the ball, the Marcus Peters comp for me is kind of real. It's kind of real to me.
Yeah.
So, and if Marcus Peters wasn't such a jerk, you know, he'd be an all-pro. But the dude can't shut his mouth away from the game. And
exactly. Yeah.
You know, keep it on the field, bro. Like between
on the field, he's a dog. Yeah. On the field, he's a dog.
Yeah, and has been wherever he's been. You know, was at UW. I mean, he was the dude. I mean, but got suspended there too. So I think that he gives me Marcus Peters vibes, the player, not the person.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly. I'm with you 100%. I think this is the guy that they're gonna be talking about. Come mid-season, you're gonna be like, oh, who's this guy? Why haven't we been watching him at all? The other two gentlemen in the back end of the secondary, safety Isaiah Fisher-Smith, 6 foot, 205. He played 12 games, only had 11 tackles, 7 solo tackles, tackle for loss. Obviously, it was just spotty play in those 12 games. And then got this guy's like a
little bowling ball.
Yeah, he does his thing here. Safety Jalen Stinson, 5'8", 165 pounds. He's a former 3-star recruit, right? 13 games, he had 74 tackles, 44 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss. He had a sack, 2 picks, pass defense, a forced fumble, and fumble recovery. He also took 51 kickoffs for 1,173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, my man's doing work, right? On 2 of the 3 parts of the football field. So, what are your thoughts on Stinson before we hit these transfers?
He gives me Pace vibes because of the height but willing to hit you in the face. because
Yeah.
we're watching the Senior Bowl. Pacey just absolutely doing
Shirt up
dude
to here.
things. Like he's just and but he ain't big. He's 5'8".
Right.
I mean, let's stretch this dude. I mean, the thing is, he don't care. He is
No.
absolute missable, right? Which I'm going to give you another comp
Bring
because
it. Bring it.
the size, the hit, from where you're playing at safety, you're not playing linebacker. Can you give me some Tyrann Mathieu? Because the Honey
Oh, the
Badger
honey badger.
is like I have these feels like he tackles so well. I mean, 77 tackles from a guy that's just. I mean, he'd be like my little brother. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Hey, and he's
I
got to
love
have
it though,
hands
dude.
if you got him on the teams, right?
Yeah. So I like him. I think he's going to turn heads. I don't know if he's going to play in the NFL, but he's going to turn some heads the rest of the season because he has that the monster about him. But the NFL is going to smaller guys because they need to keep up with his speed.
Right. Small guys that
So
can
hey
hit.
man,
Hey.
he would be one of those guys that would really be amazing to me if he comes in, and measures and comes in at 5'9", he was taller than he expected, 5'9", 5'10",
Right.
and
Yeah.
he would shoot up boards. By the way, he would go for the UDFA to a third rounder like this because of height, 100%.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Now we're gonna hit the transfers, right? And when I was doing my research about the transfers, it was just boom, boom, neon sign. I just kept going. Wow, 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 wow. Another one. I think it's 6 or 7 transfers, and 6 out of the 7 are offensive linemen.
Hey, that's what you gotta do.
Go protect your guy, right? Go make sure that your stud stays upright. Jared, they got some big boys. First guy on the list is Dan Velope, offensive tackle out of Townsend College, 6'6", 305. All right. Then we got Michael Purcell, offensive guard out of Elon, 6'4", 315 pounds. He's a grad chancellor from Elon, right? He played in 33 career games, 26 starts for the Phoenix. He earned second team all CAA honors in 2022. Another big boy.
He's gonna be
Dustin
one that
Hall.
shoots up boards. Watch.
Who? Purcell?
He's gonna be Cody Mock. I'm telling you.
You think so?
Yes,
I love
100%.
We're gonna clip this because next year I want to visit this. Now we got Dustin Hall, right? Interior offensive lineman from USF, 6'3", 303 pounds. Everybody's over 300 pounds. It's crazy. He saw action in all 12 of the Bulls games last year. 9 games he started at right guard. He helped the Bulls to a school record single rushing game of 421 yards against Temple in October, right? And he blocked for Jaron Mangham, who posted the 8th highest rushing touchdown total, 15th in the NCAA. Like, that guy's a dude. Dustin Hall is a dude. That's a steal for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, 100%.
Riley Leonard saw that guy come on, was like, thank you very much. Now, this is another steal. You're taking someone from Stanford, Jake Hornibrock, offensive tackle for Stanford, 6'5", 308. He started 11 games last year at left guard. Bro, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. This is the only gentleman on the line that they recruited that's under 300 pounds. It's Ben Hoytnick, offensive interior. Hoytnick from Pennsylvania College, 6'4", 294, right? He's part of an offensive line that allowed a total of 15 sacks. That was fewest in the Ivy League last year. 15 sacks total in the whole year.
Smart kid.
Right? And then the only non-offensive lineman, Mylon Jones, cornerback. From where do you think? Because all the coaches are from there. Texas A&M, 6'4", 185 pounds. His career totals at A&M, 124 tackles, 90 solo, Jared. 90. 6 tackles for loss, 4 picks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. What are your thoughts about the recruits?
I honestly really surprised Miles didn't declare.
He last 2 years, it was the COVID year, right? He got that thing, and I think he redshirted this year. I only think he was in 1 game.
So and good for him, but I mean everybody looked like the redshirt A&M according to the record. So,
oh man,
little slice smack in the face there. I'm always going to give A&M some hate just because one of my best friends from the Navy is an A&M alumni, and I'm just going to bust him. I love A&M, but I don't like what Jimbo's doing there. But to see Jones transfer to Duke, huge move for Duke. I mean, it's a grab, and you can base that solely on the defensive coordinators leaving there. So it's just one of those things, and I like it. I really great grab. I mean, 90 solo tackles from anybody is nothing to sweat about, especially when that's 3/4 of your tackles. So, I mean, literally 3/4 of the tackles was solos. That's crazy.
To take us to these recruits that they got coming, we already touched on the running backs a little bit, but take us through it.
All right, we talked about Peyton Jones, Marquise Collins a little bit. Let's go with height: 5'10", 5'9", 190 pounds each. Collins really fast. He's from College Station. Hilarious. You know,
right?
Your coach is recruited out of College Station. You pulled him over. Wow. So that's exactly what that happened there. I mean, not only did you pull the coaches out, you pulled the recruits out of the fire because you got to think that he was dreaming to go there, right? I mean, it's his hometown, like A&M, like, and they didn't, they need to. I mean, they probably have enough kids to bring in that also in transfer portal as it is. So lost 25, gained 1. So, so to see Collins not go there was crazy to me.
It speaks volumes.
It's awesome to me, dude. It's hilarious. Tight end Vance Boyard, 6'6", 225. He's bigger than some of their linemen. So, last year, not this year, 3-star, Greensboro, North Carolina, keeping him home. He's a great blocker. I would not be shocked, and I'm telling you this now, because of how good of a blocker he is, and we already know the other tight ends like 215 pounds. He puts on 30, 40 pounds. Watch out. Like, we're going to see a 250, 260, and thing is, being 6'6", that's easy weight for this guy.
Oh, yeah. He'll hold that well.
So get up to 280, he's going to wreck at the offensive guard, offensive tackle position.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's going to happen. I really like Boyard as a tight end recruit. He's physical. He, has good hands, but he's also one of those guys that can lay you on your butt. And I'm down with that. Desmond Aldridge, I think I'm jacking that up, 6'4", 250 edge rusher from Milford, Delaware. Two-sport athlete, basketball, football. Big dude. 6'4", 250, like we talked about. He was a 3-star, but it's because the defensive linemen were so deep in this class that you're not going – it's hard to push yourself in front of those. Next year's class might be better, which is crazy.
Insane.
But he's going to be a really good, solid edge move for them. They need, depth there. It's something they don't have. I think the guy that I've been waiting to talk about, Luke Murgot, Murgo, maybe, 6'3", 200 pounds from Berlin, Maine. Good quickness off the edge, multi-times blindsides the quarterback. He's fast. I mean, he a headhunter, right? Looking for snot bubbles. That's just what he does.
Yeah, yes.
Pretty good hands. Got a few interceptions in high school. But like you said, he's a violent hitter. Like, that dude comes to play. Yes. Absolute monster. And it's something they don't have at linebacker right now. I mean, he's bigger than their middle linebacker right now as a true freshman. And I would be shocked if he doesn't see the field.
I was going to say spring. I think in spring he's going to make his presence known. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not week 1, starter.
Yeah, I'm with you. One more defensive sidewise. Quentin Ajano, 5'10", from Kennesaw, Georgia. Kennesaw always puts out dudes, by the way.
Dude, yeah, I mean, studs.
They are deep in that county, bro. I don't know what it is. There's another football player every week.
He's pulling recruits, right? Like, and they're not chumps. It's 3-star recruits. Everyone on this list is a 3-star recruit, and they're pulling them from Georgia, from South Carolina, from Florida. Like, Elko's doing something right.
Yeah, I just like Ajano. Like, I mean, he's 170. He gonna get in the weight room. He's gonna be 190 in no time. And that's gonna be one of those weird things. Does he play corner or move back to safety? Because they have such a good tackler back there, but he a little guy. And
but he plays the nickel. He can play the nickel.
He could definitely play the nickel. So, absolutely He's going to be on the field. Quentin and Geno's going to be on the field. I think we all agree with that. Let me hear what you got on the last ones. I know Loftus.
All right, coming in, obviously he's gonna be, sitting, but he'll be learning behind, our guy Riley Leonard. That's Grayson Loftus, QB out of Gaffney, South Carolina, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's a 3-star recruit, right? He got a cannon, straight Howard's arm. This guy drops back, 3-step drop, and the ball is coming out firing, right? Fires the ball in my receiver's hands, and he's really, really good at the deep ball accuracy. His footwork in the pocket could use a little work. His mobility isn't the greatest, but like I said, he's a freshman coming in. That stuff can be taught, but knowing the game, the throwing the ball, having a good arm, and being able to read that stuff, you just got to have, right? He's got that. I want to see how he's going to do coming in, especially if Riley takes off this year and goes to the NFL. I want to see if Office will be ready come in next year and take it on. We'll see what happens, but I think he's a good recruit candidate. This gentleman, right? Apollos Cook. The numbers to me as a freshman come in just kind of scream off the page to me. 6'2", 200 pounds, 18 years old. Like, Jared, that's a big fella at 18. Right? Coming out of West Columbia, South Carolina. He's just 3-star. He's quick off the line, right? Allows him to get a step on the DB early in his routes. Sorry, if he gets in front of you, you're not catching up to him. He's got good hands, but he can also play on the outside. And he can play in the slot. I watch a lot of games where he'll line up for the first half on the outside, creep into the slot, and then in and out of the half, he's just playing that Edelman role, bro. And for a big fella, just 2-3 steps and then cut, and quarterback hits him, and he's just going. I think Apollos, they got a good wide receiver room, right? We like all three guys, but talent gets on the field, and they always say play your best guys. I think Apollos gets on the field this year. What are your thoughts on him before we keep going?
Yeah, so my thing with Apollos, we talk about really good route runners and, different things. I'm going to give you a guy that I really love in the draft right now, and Apollos is going to grow into that size because he's 6'3". It's Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia.
Ooh.
Really, he's a speed guy. He has good release. He would absolutely body you. And
yes.
He has a much better quarterback than West Virginia had last year. So there's that. Apollos is going to ball. It's just, I'm with you. He's one of those 3-stars that flew under the radar because he went to Gaffney. South Carolina's not crazy recruited.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a little surprised that South Carolina didn't get him. But, we're talking about the SEC. Sometimes they're kind of snubby. Oh, we can get a 4-star because we're SEC, and you miss on a 3-star. We can name a dozen 3-stars right now that were absolute dudes in football.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, I can just keep going for days. I can give you 2 Heisman Trophy winners off the top of my head that went to Oklahoma. So, when you look at stuff like that, because guys play multi-sports and they're not focusing on one sport, they're like, oh, okay, this and that.
Give it 3 grade.
Yeah, let's give you a 3-star. Makes it easy. You're kind of in between. If you're not, when he legit is probably a 4-star wide receiver, and it's because wide receiver there's so many, and all it takes him not going to a camp. The parents couldn't really afford to get him to go to a lot of football camps. That's all it takes.
That's truth.
And I think that he's one of those kids easily a 4-star, and I'm telling you, I'm with you. Apollos is going to see the field. He's going to turn heads, and it's going to happen right away.
I love it. Yeah, the name too is great, right?
To the moon, baby.
Apollos Cook. You got to love it. All right, there's 2 more gentlemen on the dock on the defensive side. Samaje Turner, defensive line, 6'3", 235 pounds. I don't even know how I'm going to say this. He's staying local, but it's PFAF Town. Is that right? I looked at it 3 times. Paf Tap?
It's just
whatever it is. Faf Tap. All right. North Carolina. He's a 3-star, right? Defensive lineman. 83 tackles, 17.5 sacks, 26 tackles for loss in high school. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
It's just another one of those. The guy went to a small town school, and you just don't know who he is.
And they got him, local boy. They said, okay, we're not letting this guy go, right? He's
6'2", 235. What do you tell you?
Physically dominates, dude. He continuously drives the offensive lineman. I watched 2 film tapes, 2 different games. He was just got him outside and just see you later. Like, but you're not stopping me. I'm getting
Is
back
it
there.
because he's a tweener? Do you think that's why? Like, because in college he's probably moving to defensive end. In high school, he probably played a lot of defensive tackle because he's the biggest dude
Yeah.
on the team. So that's one of those weird
Yeah.
things just
Yeah,
based
he's
on the
definitely
coaching,
tweener. I agree with you.
and that's going to change. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
so he gonna
He's
ball.
violent too. And the tweener thing works because he closes well on scrambling QBs, right? And he's a violent tackler. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. He was probably on the inside because he was the biggest guy on the team. Come here, he's not going to be that guy. He'll be on the outside. I agree. Last guy on the secondary safety, Musin Kane, 6'1", 176 pounds. He's from Blairstown, New Jersey. He's a 3-star. I like this guy because not only is he a safety who hits like a bus, right? Because it's apparent. He played on both sides of the ball in high school. He was a running back and a safety. My man loves contact. All right.
So what you're saying is
Talk to
Kane
me.
is able.
Yeah, Kane is. Yeah, he is able. He is very, very able. That was a good one, Jared. That was perfect way to close out tonight. Jared, what are your thoughts here on Duke? I got other questions on the screen. I said, don't sleep on Riley Leonard. We already touched on him. My last question before we close it out is: can head coach Mike Elko improve on a 9-4 first-year start?
I don't think he needs to. Like I said, I hope he hits 7 wins. I think that they have one of those weird schedules, but I think that it's going to be very close. I think the games they lose are the tough out of conference games, possibly. I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to be in the hunt for an ACC championship, and it's going to come down to only 3 teams that could, and I think they upset one of them.
One's down the road from them, right?
One's down the road, North Carolina, right? Florida State and Clemson, right? As much as Miami's making a move right now, the coaching is just a little bit better for me. I love Mario Cristobal, you know this, but I think the quarterback is the difference. And I think that those 3 are the top 3 quarterbacks in the group. And, so that's why I think he's the top 4. And I think that he pulls an upset here or there, and I think it's going to be Clemson. So, which means, the rivalry game between Duke and North Carolina, it doesn't matter who it is. It's always a rivalry game.
Yep.
If you get to, that could be the difference in your 9-4 and 10-2 real quick going into a bowl game. And I think it happens. I'm gonna pull a 10-win season for my guys before the bowl game.
Wow. All right. I like it. I was gonna say, I think there's more. So there's film out more on my guy, right? And I'm not saying that's gonna change much, but there's a little more film out on Riley Leonard this year. All right, there's a little bit more, more film out on what Elko likes to run. I would love them to get to 10 wins because I love seeing a team that doesn't quote unquote belong in like the football world. Like Duke's a basketball school. Unfortunately, they lost today, right? But they're a basketball school. They've come on lately, and I'm grateful for it because it's just another college football team we can talk about being relevant. Riley Leonard is him. He is a dude. I'm gonna say 8, right? But I'm gonna say the upset game is not Clemson. The upset game is North Carolina because they almost beat them this past season, right? I think they lost by a touchdown. I think that Riley Leonard got that chip on his shoulder, got that swag. He's going to say, everybody's talking Drake May, but I'm that dude in North Carolina as well. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so before, let's just get right to it. I'm going to go game by game because if you're going to beat a top tier team, it's when you surprise them. Right. They played Clemson week 1.
Dub. Okay.
Right.
They need that dub. They need to start with that dub off rip.
Lafayette.
Dub.
Northwestern.
They lost a lot of dudes. Dub. Although Jacob Gill, wide receiver, Northwestern, watch out.
This is going to be an interesting one because Coach Moore will be balling. UConn.
Ooh, that defense is legit. I think Duke wins the game.
Notre Dame.
Oh, Hotman. I think they lose that.
Hey, it's
Is it-
homecoming.
It's in Duke. It's in. Wow. Oh,
And it's homecoming.
I'm gonna have to give this one a Hotman. I gotta give that one a Hotman. I'm gonna take Notre Dame with that.
I
one.
love Sam Hartman. I'm kind of with you, but because it's homecoming, it's going to be close when we're 4-1. NC State,
W.
Florida State.
Loss.
Okay, we're 5-2.
Yep.
Louisville.
Oh, that's. I listen. I think that's gonna be a really close game down to the fourth quarter. I think that Riley Leonard's mobility will win that game. I'm gonna go with Duke.
6. Wake Forest.
No, that's W. They got nobody now. They got no quarterback, no receivers. Donovan Green's the only one there. Who's throwing the ball?
North Carolina at North Carolina.
That's my upset. So if they lose to Clemson, I'm taking.
We're
I'm
8.
telling you,
8. Virginia.
come on. He's gone, right? The lefty's gone, right?
Yep.
Armstrong's
gone.
out of there.
Armstrong's
Right.
out. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, Jerkovich is over there. Yeah, I'm gonna go Riley Leonard. I'm gonna take Duke.
That's my 10. Before we go, 10-2.
Wow. All right. Hey, 10-2, the Dukies. I'm gonna go 8-4. I'm gonna stick with that one. We'll have to revisit it and clip it. Jared, take us away.
Hey, until next week, I appreciate you guys as always. Let's go.